Hello students, today we will be going through a new lesson, that is water resources. Before we start with this lesson, let us see the syllabus for this particular topic. In this topic we are going to study about the sources of water, that is surface water and groundwater. Then we have the next point, that is need for conservation of water and conservation practices, that is rainwater harvesting and its importance. Then we have irrigation, that is importance of irrigation and different methods of irrigation. So all these points will be covered from this particular topic. Water, when you talk about, is present in different states on the earth and in different proportion, and this proportion may vary from textbook to textbook, but it gives you a rough idea telling you that how water is present in it and in what percentage, right? Here it says that 97% of the water is in the ocean, which we cannot utilize. 2% of the water is in the form of ice, and very less quantity, that is 1% or very less proportion you can say, is the usable water, right? So here it says that we need to utilize water in a proper way, otherwise we will face n number of problems, right? Surface water. Surface water is available on the surface of the earth, right? You can see in the rivers, lakes, ponds and canals. You can see on the screen, this is a river, this is a lake, pond and canal. So all these are the sources of the surface water. Whatever rain we have, this rainwater is collected in these sources, right? And later on we can utilize for our use. Then we have the groundwater. What is groundwater? The part of rainwater that seeps through the cracks and crevices into the ground is called groundwater. Example is aquifers. You can see on the screen, student, right? When it rains on the upper part of the earth crust, slowly this water percolates inside the earth and it goes down inside the earth, right? And there this water gets stored, and especially if there is clay present in the subsoil, it helps to store water, right? And later on when you dig well and tube well, you can extract this water and use. So this is groundwater. Lagoons. Now what are lagoons? This also comes into the surface water source, right? You can see on the screen a small water body is formed, right, near the sea, near the beach area, and it is separated by a sand bank, right? So such kind of sources are called as lagoons, right? This is a salt water body. Is this clear? Then we have the backwaters. You can see on the screen, on one side we have the sea water and on one side we have the river which is joining the sea. When there are high tides, the water of the river is pushed behind, and when there is low tide, the river water heads towards the sea. So these are the sources of surface water, right? What is irrigation now? Irrigation is nothing but artificial supply of water to the farm. You can see on the screen, students, the process of supplying water to the crops by artificial means such as canals, well, tube well, lakes, river, tanks, ponds and underground sources. So all this is, where you supply water artificially to the farm is called as irrigation. Why irrigation is important? India is an agricultural country, right? Even today, if you go to see, most of the people in India depend on agriculture, right? And when you talk about agriculture, water is important. Here when you talk about in India, we have long growing season. We grow 2 to 3 crops in a year, and when you talk about growing of crops, you need lots of water, and that time irrigation plays a very important role, right? Water is a natural resource. It is not available throughout the year, and hence irrigation is important, right? Though water is a natural resource, but it is not available throughout the year, and then we need to depend on some artificial means, and that is irrigation, right? We can utilize water from the wells, tube wells, rivers, canals, and you can use it into the farm, right? So this is how irrigation is important in India. Need for irrigation, when you talk about rainfall in India, is erratic. Now what is erratic? It doesn't follow a regular pattern, right? Suppose in the month of June it should rain heavily, right? Then July it rains less, and then again September it goes on decreasing. This is how it becomes, right? But it doesn't happen the same way every year. You may see that in the month of June it may not rain, and in the month of July it starts to rain heavily. So it is not regular. It doesn't follow the regular pattern. So we need to depend on irrigation, because if it doesn't rain and we need water for the crops, as it is the growing period of the crop, we need to depend on irrigation. Then next point is unreliable. You cannot depend on rain nowadays. And when you talk about today's condition, because of the climate change, it is not possible to depend on rain, right? If it rains heavily, and if it doesn't rain, it leads to droughts. So because of this, we need to depend on irrigation. Then we have next point, that is irregular. Irregular means it is not consistent, means what percentage of rain that we should have in every month, it doesn't go accordingly. It is not consistent. It rains heavily, and then for 15 to 20 days we see that there is no rain at all, and then again it starts raining. So it is not good for the crop, and that time we need to depend on irrigation. Growing period, when you talk about it, a crop needs more water, right? And that time only, if it doesn't rain, then the crop won't give you a good yield, or there will be no proper growth taking place. So irrigation is important during this time. Then uncertain, again the same. We are not able to decide or trust on the rain. Like, we cannot depend on rain. It is somewhat same like unreliable, right? Then unevenly distributed, means in few areas it rains heavily, and in few areas it doesn't rain at all. So you'll find that the rainfall is unevenly distributed. Then factors required for the development of irrigation. Now what are the factors? First one is soft land with gentle slope. Soft land helps to dig canals, or construction of canals becomes easier. Even when you talk about digging of well, in the soft land it becomes easier. So this is the first factor. Then we have presence of clay in the subsoil for storing rainwater. The next point is presence of clay in the subsoil, which helps to store water. So if there is subsoil in the if there is clay in the subsoil, this will help you to store water. The next point is perennial snow-fed rivers, right? Even if there are snow-fed rivers around a particular area, they'll allow you water throughout the year. They'll allow the water to be utilized throughout the year. So this is another factor, you can say, which is playing a very important role. Next is non-porous rock to store water. Yes. For example, in the south, when you talk about, we find igneous rock, which is not porous in nature, right? And you'll find that people make artificial bunds around the depression, natural depressions, and they store water in this, right, called as tanks. So even non-porous rock can help to store water. If it is getting collected in those depressions, it helps to store water, right? So these are the factors which help in the development of irrigation.